Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to day 17 of our Facebook yoga practice. As I continue to set our class, do take a moment to come into your normal breath. Today we're going to start in a kneeling or a Vajrasana, thunderbolt position. If this is not comfortable for you, of course, you're welcome to stay seated as regular, whichever way your body most feels comfortable. Today we will be doing a Yin Vinyasa, so the Yin poses in a flow-like sequence, but with some intermittent holds for up to 3 minutes. We will also be working on the pranayama, or breathing techniques, today and every day. And we are also preparing today to come into a global meditation at 7:45 PST. If you are not already planning to participate, I would encourage you to do so. I can send you the link if you would like to participate in the Zoom. I'm sure there's a lot of different groups that are surrounding this, but a lot of special energy today. So as you continue to breathe, feeling the space being created in your belly, your diaphragm dropping down, expanding, not only space for your internal organs, but all of that topical skin, getting a nice deep stretch. And when you're ready, on your next exhale, removing the hands from the knees, we'll take a moment to come into the breath, keeping the shoulders dropping down. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down, eyes and the elbows open, joints of the wrist, the fingers, the finger joints, everything opening, lifting up until we touch the tips of the fingers, and then exhale, changing the directionality of your palms so they're facing downwards. Shoulders should be pressing down at all times. And once the tips of the fingers touch the ground, again, interchanging the direction of the palm, inhaling up. Use this to lengthen your breath, make it physical, exhaling down. And on your next inhale, coming up and just stay here halfway, just for a moment. Feel the effects of gravity on the body. Feel the lengthening of your arms, the span of your body. Feel the opening and the softness in your heart. As you continue to breathe very deeply, not only feeling the balloon in your belly, feeling the barrel in your rib cage expanding, being sure the shoulders are stationary, never lifting. Creating space and length in the neck. On your next exhale, let's hug the arms into the shoulders. So left over right, grasping onto the shoulders. And exhaling forward. Inhaling open. And exhaling opposite arm. So right hand over top, grasping the shoulders. And rolling down, inhaling open. This time overhead, so inhaling, interlacing the the arm, so that again they grasp onto each elbow. Make a nice little picture frame for yourself, so keep lifting with the arms, dropping in the shoulders, deepening the breath. And let's keep our left arm up. If you need your strap here, you can keep your strap in your left hand. Otherwise, exhale, right arm down and walking the fingers together. If you do need the strap, of course, your fingers don't need to touch as long as they are creating some resistance. Keep lengthening in the spine, opening in the heart, relaxing in the legs. And if at any point your legs need a bit of a break or a change, feel free. When you're ready, inhaling opposite side And again, keep the strap in whichever arm is going up just to make it a bit easier to find. Walking the fingers together, creating space. And again, you may feel one side it's a little bit more open than the opposite side. Absolutely normal. Our bodies often grow in that response to what happens in our lives, and the left and the right don't always get equal treatment. Yoga helps to bring the body back to balance. This will be a 60-minute yin practice, inhaling arms out to the side, and exhale, let's bring them behind, interlacing the fingers, lifting up. Once you've found your edge of course being your maximum capacity to stretch on your own, and then exhale forward. We'll stay here just for a few deep breaths. If you're able to get the forehead down, wonderful. Breathing nice and deeply. So we will practice a 60-minute Vinyasa Yin with pranayama. Children or adolescents, are welcome to join this class as long as they're not holding the positions for a longer time. They do need to keep moving. On your next inhale, let's just following here, keep the upper body down and drop the hands only. Allow the hands to grasp on the outside of the heels, and we're going to roll the head over. So if your forehead is on the ground, we're going to roll so that now the crown of the head is on the ground, and keep holding on to your heels, getting a nice stretch in the shoulder. If you need to adjust a little bit, that's fine. And exhale down. Follow your breath a few times, inhaling up. Pressing the crown into the ground. Stretching out the shoulders, the wrists, the arms, and exhaling. And one more time, coming up. And exhaling down. Let's lift the body, bring the hands behind us, fingers pointing towards the toes. Inhale, lift, 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 lift. Squeezing here, pressing the arms down, pushing into the ground, and slowly coming down. Beautiful. So there's a bit of our warm-up. We'll come into our first position, which is, transition position at first. So left leg, let's just bend it up. Toes are in a nice line with the feet. And this is the position. It's called the thinker. So you can kind of put your hand as though you're thinking, resting on both elbows. If you'd like a little bit more of an active stance, you can imagine you're tilting forward, stretching out the back of your heel. But really let the body drop down into itself here. Feel all of the joints pressing into the midline and just sort of sinking into themselves. Very relaxed stance here. And when you're ready, we're going to shift the weight forward, bringing the hands just about 6 inches in front of us. Inhale, lifting, weight into the hands, lift the opposite leg. So all the way up, and exhale, cross the leg over. So our legs are crossed, ankles are crossed, and then let's walk the hands out to one side, trying to keep your weight balanced in all points of the feet, and walk your hands back to the opposite side. Inhaling back to center, take that back leg, lifting it up again, and then exhale, just drop the knee right back down again so that it's in line with the toes on the ground. Okay, taking a balance, and then crossing that foot over. So again, the toes are in line with the knees on the ground. See if you can balance here. If it's a bit difficult, you can keep your hands on the ground, and if it's not accessible, keep books, blocks, pillows, anything that you can use to keep your balance, holding here for just a moment. And then exhale, bring that upper leg all the way out to the side. If you're able to bring the hand either to the knee, the ankle, the foot, wherever you might, get a nice side stretch, side body as well as the back of the leg. And inhale up and reverse the position. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze forward. A little back bend here. It's important to get our counter poses with so many forward bends, so much forward movement. And exhale, coming back to our Vajrasana or thunderbolt position. And we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. Take a moment just to feel little blood circulation shift, and let's bring the opposite leg up, coming into that thinker position, whether you're a little bit more relaxed. And also here, if your head, your chin is resting on the arm, you can really get a nice sensation of relaxing the neck. So we don't want to really tilt the neck back too much, but here it's supported. Relax the shoulders, opening the neck, keeping the air passages open, getting lots of freshly oxygenated blood or oxygen into the bloodstream. And exhale, release. Hands about 6 inches forward, lifting, shifting the weight to the hands, lifting the leg, and exhale, dropping the leg on the outside. So our legs are crossed, ankles crossing, and exhale, walk the hands to one side. Keep the head hanging down. Let be a ragdoll in the upper body. And inhale, walk the hands to the opposite side. And again, inhale when we go into a lengthening or a lifting. And exhale as we release or forward fold coming down. So exhale, bending that leg, bringing it in line again with the toes. And position of transition, crossing over. Now these are meditative positions. Again, if the balance is difficult, keeping the hands down is absolutely fine. These are the positions that we want to be able to hold for 60 or 90 minutes during a more mental or metaphysical meditation. Right now we are just getting the kinks out of the body. Inhale, lifting and opening that leg all the way out, whether your hand comes to the knee, the calf, or to the toes. Imagine the same forces lifting up, back, and pushing over, the back of the knee opening, toes moving towards the head, heel moving away from you. Oh, very nice. And inhaling back up, lifting into a reverse, gentle with the wrists, gentle with the neck, pushing your hips as far forward as they comfortably go. And exhaling down, coming back into our Vajrasana. Check in with yourself. Do a little breath. We will stop here to do a little bit of fast breathing. So if you'd like to have your hands on your belly, just to remind yourself that it is coming from the diaphragm, not the shoulders. You don't want to be convulsing like this. Kapalbhati, if you are familiar, please begin. If this is your first time, if you feel lightheaded, come down, bring your center of the forehead onto the ground into a child's position. You might feel some sensations of the body. If it's painful or discomfort or uncomfortable, please stop. Otherwise, breathe through the practice. We're going to do one deep inhale, belly out, and then quick bouts of exhaling through the nose, drawing the belly inward. So when you're ready, inhaling up. And through the nose, exhaling, coming from the belly. At any time you need to take another breath, do so at your own time. We'll do probably about 3 breaths. So it'll be a little bit different length for everybody. Fantastic frontal brain cleanse, frontal cortex, as well as a circulation booster. It is a hot breathing technique, so it will bring heat into the body. And it's also very digestive. You can probably feel a bit of a taste or a sweetness in the mouth. It does activate several other systems as well. So coming back to your natural breath, let's come forward into our first yin position, which will be a child position, balasana. So keeping the knees together, keeping the tips of the toes together. We will do another child's position towards the end of the practice with the legs open. So do really try to keep the midline tight here. Inhaling, arms up, shoulders down, lifting. Feel the openness in the breath. Feel the lengthening of the lungs and the spine, your vertebrae. And when you're ready with a nice straight back, reaching as far as you can. Try to keep your bum on your heels for as long as you can until inevitably it's going to lift a little bit. And then find a place of comfort. We're only going to hold this for 1 minute to start. We'll use it as a bit of an entrance position. Our indoctrination into the yin practice. So again, be at about 70%. Even in these more relaxing positions, we can overdo it and therefore maybe be less likely to want to come back. So listen to your breath, listen to your body. Feel a wave of oxygen and rolling along the spine. Imagine a bright white light entering through the crown of the head. Cascading down the spine, bringing healing, energy, cleansing, rejuvenating every cell of the body. That's about halfway. We'll hold it for another 30 seconds or so. If you find space, take it. Inch the fingers forward. Millimeters mean miles. Millimeters in the body mean miles in the mind. And maybe light years in the soul. Opening the spaces that you have only by conditioning sort of become guarded around. And through another type of conditioning, we can come back into our natural states of health and wellness. We're going to come into a bit of a movement here. It will be our cat-cow of the day, similar, but rather than cat-cow, it will be baby table cobra, or rather an upward dog. So reach the fingers out here. Take a moment. You might even lift the behind off of your heels just a few inches, or if you're really struggling, of course, it may not be there. That's fine. It will open. The more you come back here, it will start to open. We're going to come into a rounded cat. So inhaling, rounding up. Keep the spine nice and flexed, pushing into the hands, making sure your fingers are spread, first knuckles taking the weight. And when you're ready, we're going to keep the chin tucked into the chest, let the hips fall down, and slowly each vertebrae following. The last thing to come up is the head. Now, if you'd like, you can also lift up onto your tops of the feet, or you can just stay down on your thighs and legs. Whichever works for you is absolutely perfect. We're going to do the same thing in reverse. So now the last thing to move will be our head. So we start, or rather, sorry, the first thing we move will be our head. So we start to curl the head under, pushing through the shoulders. The hips don't move until right at the moment where the spine comes into them. So follow this movement 3 or 4 times in your own pace. So inhale, rounding the back into either an up dog or a cobra. Coming through a table, through a cat. The slower you go, the greater the benefits. Keeping the palms active, paying attention to any sensations in the feet, and just enjoy this spinal tap. Exhaling as we move down. As they say, the length of your life depends directly on the health of your spine. And one last one here. Really feeling that full extension. And then coming into a regular tabletop position. Good. So lining up the joints in the upper body as well as the lower limbs. No need for a few cat-cows, but if you'd like to do a little bit of a wiggle or a dance or a jiggle or whatever you need, that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, we'll come straight into our first balance. So, in my case, I will use the left arm, right leg. If the both are not comfortable or not accessible, start with the leg. Use your eyes as a place to focus your gaze, and let's dance. Exhale, knee to the nose, elbow to the rib. Over exaggerating your movements 3 or 4 times here. Feel the space being created in the back of the knee and the eyes of the elbow. And when you're ready, we'll come into a balance. So inhaling, lifting, bending the back leg and reaching over with our hand and finding binding. Use your strap if you're more comfortable. And lifting. Again, your first knuckle is taking the balance and taking the weight. And breathe. Just for a moment here and into our shoelace. So releasing the hand, crossing the knees over, widening the stance of your feet. I'll just turn so you can get a bit of a glimpse. So really pushing those knees together, opening the feet and exhaling down. You don't have to sit. You can hover your hips here. Very deep hip opener. Enjoy this. We will hold it for another few breaths. And on your next inhale, coming up, uncrossing, and we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So again, come back to your tabletop, give a little wiggle or a jiggle or a wave or whatever you might need. And when you're ready, same thing on the opposite side. So starting with the left leg or whichever leg you did not do first, and introducing the opposite arm. If you're comfortable, use your eyes as balance. This is Trataka. There's all kinds of vision improvement you can do as well, not only using the ocular vision quality of the eye, but also the ability for balancing and connecting the body and the mind. And let's move. Exhale, knee to the nose, elbow to the rib. 3 or 4 times, nice and slow, according to your body, finding rhythm with your movements, your energy. And on your next exhale, coming into a binding, so bending the knee, bringing the arm back and pushing into the 2 and releasing here. Strengthening, twisting, balancing, lengthening, breathing, relaxing. So many tasks the body and the mind have to unite. And when you're ready, let's exhale down. Now we are going to come into a downward dog here, just as a bit of a transition. So when you're ready, and don't come into it straight away. The arms, again, are the most important. So focusing on the hands, opening the palms, spreading the fingers. Play with where the elbows are when they face forward, face side, face eyes, the elbows forward or facing each other, forward or facing each other. Feel that movement. Sorry, can't see it right. Feel that movement of the lower arms and just experiment with how the body moves together and just that impression of any tightness, any tension. Let's curl the toes under, and when we're ready, we're gonna, with the eyes of the elbows facing forward, shoulders moving downward, we're gonna focus just on the upper body. So keeping the knees bent, pushing the hands into the ground. Toes are sort of in a runner's leap. Our heels are lifted from the ground only when you feel comfortable. Let's slowly start to bring the right heel down and then the opposite. Walking or bicycling the legs out here.
We're not going to stay here long. When you're ready, let's take your left foot forward. Big lunge, so 90 degrees in the front leg. Let's stay here just for 5 breaths. If it's very difficult, of course, you can bring your back leg down to the ground, but try to keep everything squeezing into the midline. And on your next breath, let's drop that knee down and we'll come into a bit of a balance. So flattening the top of the foot of the back right leg. Inhaling, arms up, shoulders down. Coming into a bit of a back bend here. Just a slight counter pose, lengthening. Make sure you're not compressing down into the lower part of the spine. Now, if you feel you want a deeper stretch, if your right leg is back, take your left arm and just kind of find the outer edge of your right hip and lean into that. You may exceed 90 degrees and reach over to the side here. So a few different things happening here. Our regular lunge has now become a bit of a deepening twist over into a lunge. Okay? So find whichever place works for you. We'll stay here for one more breath. And inhaling up and simply lean back. Lifting the toes of the front foot, heel moving away from you. We'll stay here again for about 5 breaths. Letting the head hang down. Try to keep the hips squared. So the hip of the long leg in the front should be moving back, whereas the bent knee should be aiming forward. So keep that kind of tweaking out of your body. On your next inhale, we're going to seesaw our way forward again, shifting forward, coming to a flying dragon. Flying dragon is simply allowing in a front lunge, allowing the leg to roll out to the side, the sole looking sideways, hand on the inside of the knee, and again, feel that elasticity in the hips, and turning, twisting towards the opposite direction and breathing. 5 deep breaths here. Remember, you have a balloon in your belly. With every inhale, the body becomes softer and lighter. With every inhale, the barrel in your rib cage expands, releasing the intercostal muscles, releasing that elasticity in the bones, protecting your lungs. On your next inhale, we're going to lift up, lean back, and we're going to get into Virasana, hero. So rather than Vajrasana at the beginning where we're sitting on our heel, we're going to come to the inside. So we're not sitting on the foot is out to the side. And if that does not work, bring a block, bring a pillow, bring something onto the bottom of your right leg to lift the balance. If it's too tight here in your femur, in your thigh, then lift it up. Otherwise, so stage 1 would just be finding that comfort. Stage 2, coming back onto the elbows, beautiful place to be. Make sure the hips are squared. Stage 3 is coming all the way back and inhaling, arms up. And again, let's bring them into that elbow picture frame. So hands holding onto the elbows, and let's breathe here for 5. Relax the shoulders, relax the hips. Staying, of course, in any one of these positions for as long as you like or as little bits of time as you would like. And when you're ready, let's shift and lift. So shift the weight back to the elbows, lifting, keeping the chin tucked into the chest, lifting all the way and welcome into a pigeon position. So once you're lifted up onto one heel, then start to walk that heel in and find your place of comfort. If your hips are a little bit more open, you can have the the shin parallel to the top of the mat. If they're a little bit tighter, bring it in. Use a block. You can have one here, one here. Use pillows. Essentially, just pad yourself with anything that loses symmetry. Okay? And we will hold this for 2 minutes. So find your edge being, of course, 70% of your full capacity. This is another deep hip opener. In a forward bend, we're focusing on the upper quadrants of the lungs, filling in all of those lesser used places, utilizing all of the tissue in the lungs. And of course, relieving our lungs of any stagnant energy, any stagnant breath, any residual lung capacity, which, unless you're very aware or you're very athletic or you have a very strong pranayama practice, most people, they say, has about 1/3 of a residual lung capacity at any given time. So just working on, and we need that. We don't want to be depleted of oxygen, but that often doesn't move. That becomes stale air. And we really need to keep moving that around. Take one more breath here. So again, we're seesawing our way through these positions. So on your next inhale, lifting the head, that back leg is going to swing all the way forward, and it's going to cross over the bent knee. If this is a bit tight, bring the bottom knee out, and we're going to meet you there anyways for the next position. Bring the bottom leg out, extending the bottom knee. Otherwise, adjusting yourself as necessary. Coming into a Matsyendrasana twist, keeping the knees in line with the toes, inhaling, lifting, shoulders down, elbows open, palms together, touch the tips of the fingers, and then exhale, coming into a twist, opposite elbow to the opposite knee, and twisting. You can use the back arm as a pillar, or you can start to find binding. Use your strap here, as long as your hips are squared, body is relaxed, and we are breathing. We'll hold this for a few deep breaths, not quite a minute. Finding space, and again, allowing the time, gravity, and stillness to make an impact on the body. Don't force it. In a yin practice, let the opening come to you. Do not seek. As soon as we seek, it says, we seek, we shall find, but in fact, often those who seek, it disappears into thin air. The moment we try to identify what we are looking for, we don't know what it is anymore. So just being in your body, being in the moment. On your next exhale, let's release the arms. And if your leg is straight already, great. Otherwise, take your bottom leg, straighten it, keep that knee, keep the knee bent and the foot leaning over. Now we're going to try and stack both knees on top of each other and bring this heel back to the hip. Now, this is a bit of a shoelace variation or a half shoelace. And again, we'll have varying degrees of comfort with it. But if you can't quite get it, bring your foot back as far as you can, then hold on to your foot. Just inch yourself forward a little bit. You feel that? You feel that tightness comes into the sacrum, comes all the way down. And we're going to come into a forward bend here. We won't stay long, just a few breaths. Inhaling, arms up, shoulders down, and exhale, forward fold. Find your edge. Now your edge will change here. This is not a regular forward fold. Adjust. Do not expect that we can do the same thing when there's other things going on. We need to adapt. We need to be patient with ourselves. And on your next inhale, let's lift, uncrossing the leg. Bring it in line again, toes in line with the knee. Inhaling up, shoulders down, arms up. Big inhale, tips of the fingers touching. Exhale on the inside of that bent leg. So inside the thigh, try to see if your shoulder can find its place against the knee or against the shin. And we're going to swim. Inhale, open. And if you're able, we're going to find binding behind that leg. Now again, if it's a bit tight, you can use your strap. Otherwise, a few breaths here. And as you release, the hands lifting, folding over this time, not that Virasana. Virasana is when the leg is behind us. Back to Vajrasana, where we are sitting on the heel. And again, adapt for your comfort and your ability. And just for a little bit of fun, let's bring the left leg over into a figure four, reverse figure four. So again, try to find balance, bringing the hands up or keeping them down. Balancing will change day to day, situation to situation, and again, depending on what we are doing with the rest of our bodies. Exhale, bring ourselves back to a full Vajrasana position. Taking a breath, feeling the effects on the body as we prepare to do the same thing on the opposite side. So now, coming back through a tabletop, preparing for downward dog, curling the toes under, pressing into the palms. Keep the knees, almost the thighs want to be touching the belly. Kind of use that as your point. So if your thighs can touch your belly, then start to think about lengthening the legs. And here, rather than bicycling, let's bring the right hand to the outside of the right ankle or knee or hip. Or you can even give yourself a little massage, lengthening the whole leg. And exhale, opposite side. So bringing the opposite hand to the same ankle. So left hand to the ankle, hip, knee, wherever you feel comfortable. And giving a bit of massage or a circulatory boost. And when you're ready, let's bring the opposite leg. Nice big step forward. So in my case, right leg 90 degrees with the bend. Staying here, trying to stay up. We'll only stay here for a few breaths. You can let the head hang down. Feel the lengthening of your spine. And exhale, dropping the knee, lifting the upper torso, flattening the back foot, and inhale, coming into a slight back bend. We'll breathe here for a few breaths. And again, if you'd like to take it a bit deeper, opposite hand to the outside of the opposite thigh, leaning forward a little bit, exceeding 90 degrees in the front leg, although keep the knee pushing inward. Really lifting, feeling the obliques stretch, and exhale, coming back to center, and leaning back, lifting the toes, bringing the head down towards the knee. Make sure the hips haven't shifted out to the side. Make sure you're in a nice, long, straight line. Don't want to fall over. It's nice to do yoga against a wall as well. If you don't have a teacher with you, the wall can be your natural check just to see. And holding here for a few breaths. And on your next inhale, we'll again shift the weight forward. We're seesawing back and forth and into a flying dragon. So into a forward lunge, exceeding 90 degrees in our groin. Soul shifting to the side, and hand can come to the outside of the knee. And you can look to the opposite side, encouraging a deeper twist. Feeling that bounciness in the body, the elasticity, the opening of the fascial tissue, that deep connective. And on your next inhale, let's release back into Virasana. So with the leg beside us. And again, if that is a bit tight, another thing you can do is just kind of sit on a block, right? Sit on a block, sit on a pillow, and right, just kind of let that balance come to itself. Otherwise, we want the leg to be on the outside, not sitting on it, and lean back. Coming to the elbows as our first point of comfort. If that works, take it down, inhale, arms up, grasping the hands into the elbows, shoulders down, and breathe. The small of the back will naturally lift a little bit, but try to keep it pressing downward, activating the abdominal muscles. As you do so, you'll feel probably the leg starts to lift. Try to keep both femurs in line. And breathe. We'll hold here for another few deep breaths. And when you're ready, lifting and shifting. So arms help us up, up, and away into our pigeon position. So coming forward, walking the feet out to the side or the corner of your mat, adjusting for your hips. And once you've found your position of comfort, let's exhale, forward fold, and we will hold this for 2 minutes. So finding your edge, 70% of your full capacity, and relax. It's coming up to 1 minute here. Start to feel the changes happening in the body without judgment, without expectation. Just be. Yin allows our body to wake up those extra sensory perceptions that we may not be aware of. There's much more happening in the sensory realm at any one given time than our conscious mind can pick up on. So in order to deepen our experience in life, our knowledge in life, our ability to communicate, to help, to be present,
We must get through any kind of tightness or tension or any discomfort, anything that's making you uncomfortable in your human body needs to go. Because there are simply too many things, too many problems, too many opportunities for solutions, too many opportunities for people to come together and create a new way of being, a new system, systems that we're not even aware of yet. That's 2 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So when you're ready, let's shift the weight, walking the hands back, swinging that long leg all the way forward and all the way over. So just again, lifting, going on to the bent buttock and shifting the weight, allowing the leg to come all the way over, lining up the toes with the knees, femurs reaching upward. Take a minute here just to feel the space that you have created. And when you're ready, coming into Matsyendrasana twist. And if this is tight, that's fine. Bottom leg can be lengthened and held. And we will meet you there for our half shoelace anyways. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down, elbow, opposite elbow to the opposite knee. Finding binding if that's where you are at. And hold here for a few deep breaths. Keeping the balloon lengthening, growing, expanding. Don't let the twisting compromise your ability to breathe deeply. Relax your feet, relax your legs, relax your bum. And on your next exhale, releasing the arms, straightening the lower leg. Upper leg is going to come into a half shoelace, so try to stack the knees upon each other and bring the heel back to the hip. If you're not getting it, bring it back as far as you can go and then hang on to it. Take a little push forward with the rest of your body. We will come into a forward bend here. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down, eyes at the elbows open. And exhaling. Breathing here. And on your next inhale, when you are ready, slowly rounding the spine, coming up, crossing the leg over into Vajrasana, which means we are sitting on the leg. So sitting up, finding balance, finding comfort. And just for fun, let's come into a half figure four. And again, trying to find balance. And again, you may find one side a little bit better than the next. Balance is difficult. Find a place on the ground at which to gaze. And when you're ready, let's exhale, release, and come back into a full Vajrasana and into our next child's position. So this time with nice open legs, as wide as you feel comfortable. Tips of the toes should be touching, at least for now. Inhaling, arms up, shoulders down, elbows open, and with a nice straight back, lengthening forward. And exhale, find the floor, walk your hands forward, and we are going to hold this for 1 minute. So really get comfortable. If your forehead is on the ground, you can even roll it side to side, giving a nice massage on the front of the forehead.
Now we're gonna stay here. This is only about 40 seconds, but we are going to, once our minute comes up, move into a puppy position. So we're gonna keep the legs as they are, and you can watch me if you like. I'll go sideways just to get a better angle. So with the knees open, tips of the toes together, we're slowly just gonna start to walk the fingers forward, lift the hips until we feel the chest come down. So once the chest is down, that's where I'd like you to stay. Now you can also adjust your feet. You can now bring the instep of the foot facing flat down, and you may want to also start to widen the stance of your knees. You'll feel, of course, this is coming into an entirely different position, not puppy position. We're moving into frog. So if you're comfortable in puppy, stay here. You've got your chest down, your knees are nice and wide. You're really getting deep into the hips and the shoulders. If you're not comfortable there, stay in a regular child's position. Otherwise, once you're in the bit of the puppy position and you would like to kind of move into the frog, then start to bring your legs open and flatten the instep of the inside of your feet. And breathe here for about 5 deep breaths. Shoulders are down. And when you're ready, we're simply going to walk or shift the weight forward onto the belly and come into a bit of a bow position. So with our knees separated, our feet should be up. Let the upper body hang down, grasping on to the front of your ankles. Pull those ankles into your outer thigh, outer hips. And if this feels good, stay here. Otherwise, with a little bit of energy, we're going to inhale, lift, pressing the ankles into the palms and really feel the upper body lifting. Stay here for a few breaths. You should be rocking up and down. This is very good for digestion. If you've got gas right now, you're going to be in pain. So that's okay. Just let it all out. Let it go. Get healthy. Stay healthy. Keep it flowing. And when you're ready, let's exhale. Simply release the feet. Bring the arms forward about halfway, so they're a bit bent, or say about 90 degrees. Inhaling up, a nice shallow cobra. We're not going to stay here too long, but just pay attention. What happened to your feet? What happened to the sensations in the bottom of your feet, your toes, your legs? Just observe without judgment, without expectation. And when you're ready, let's bring the right hand to the center of the mat, lifting the left and looping the left arm through. Get a nice shoulder stretch so the left palm is facing up, right palm is facing down. Walk both of them out, and let's breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. When you're ready, opposite side. So bring the hand back. Left hand now to the inside of the mat. Lifting the right, looping it through, walking the fingers, threading the shoulder, and breathe. Again, we'll hold this for 5, 4, relax the legs, relax the feet, relax your bum. 3, 2, 1. And 0. On your next exhale, let's just unravel. So let the upper arm come up, over, and let yourself come onto your back. And let's prepare here for our Shavasana. So allowing the legs to flail downward, toes pointing to the outside, arms beside you, palms facing up, a few inches away from the body. Rotate your consciousness through your physical self. Where are you? Where do you live in your body? Where is your tightness in your body? Exploring the caverns, the crevices, the caves. And breathe. With every inhale, falling deeper into a relaxed state. With every exhale, releasing any tension that comes up. Physical or mental, let it go. It does not belong to us. We are divine beings, purity. We were not designed to hang on to stress. We were designed to have stress for a short time, to keep us alive, and then to let it go. So come back to your instinctual reptilian roots. Stay here for as long as you like. For those of us in PST time zone, the war cry comes at 7 p.m., so allowing your breath to continue, your eyes to remain closed. When you are ready, begin to wiggle the fingers and toes. Turning the head to the left and the right. Bring the arms up with a big inhale, interlacing the fingers overhead and bending to the left, crescent moon, and to the right. Inhale, flat back, knees to the chest, hugging yourself in, rocking side to side, up and down, making circles, small or large, whatever you may feel, or finding stillness. When you are ready, allowing the right bicep to come up, making a pillow for the head, keeping the knees tucked in tight. The original yoga position is the fetal position. We have all spent a few months anyway, some of us a little bit longer than others. Take a moment to remember the days of your life and who has helped bring you to this place where you are now. Take a moment to think of those suffering and hurting, and send your love, your energy, and your light. Allow a smile to come across your face, releasing endorphins from the practice, reminding yourself the effects of yoga continue long after we leave the mat. And when you are ready, and only when you are ready, in your own time, at your own pace, with very soft movements, keeping the eyes closed or open with a very soft gaze, coming back up into a comfortably seated position. You may, of course, be using the wall, blocks or pillows. Just taking a moment to return to your natural breath, feeling the effects of the practice on the body, reminding ourselves this is primarily a breathing practice, and it is traditional to close the practice with a breath extension, vibration creation. When you are ready, thumbs into the sternum, fingers away from the thumbs, feel the rhythm of your heart, in tune with the rhythm of your life.
Namaste. May I remind you that there is a planetary meditation happening in 44 minutes from now. You don't, of course, need to be connected through these virtual worlds. As long as you are present during this time, I would invite you to participate in whatever capacity you feel. And also remember, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the emotions, you are the light. You are what is, was, and always.